Hey guys, it's Katie at scrappingkatie.ctmh.com, and I am bringing you a quick card for the IT'S FAUX Technique blog hop that I am participating in. And I'll leave the link to that blog hop down below so you can go check out all the other Close to My Heart makers and see what they are sharing. Now, I will be using the In This Together special. I have a stamp set, some little enamel dots, and then this adorable paper that really has to do with scrapbooking the pandemic. And I'll run you through these pattern papers and then, of course, this sticker sheet with all these cute relative stickers. Now, we've got this cute mask paper and then a polka dot paper, and the back side to that is this grid paper, which you guys know I love some grid paper. And then you've got some cute toilet paper for all of those toilet paper photos, as well as some tone-on-tone hearts, and then some speech bubbles, as well as some lemonade diagonal paper. And then you've got these patterns that are this word pattern, and then these gorgeous stripes, and then this floral pattern, and the back side to that is kind of like laptops and guitars and anything that maybe you picked up a hobby or that you were creating during the pandemic. And then I have also pulled out the coordinating cardstock. For this card base, I'm pretty sure I'm going to use a colored cardstock for the card base, simply because I just love colored cardstock bases. So when I pull out the inks on the back of the zip strip of each pattern paper from Close to My Heart, it tells you the coordinating ink colors. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out all those inks, even though I may not be using them. That way they're right in front of me, just in case I want to grab them. So I am going to put this up, deciding which pattern paper I'm going to use. And I think I'm going to go with that polka dot paper. And then I think my card base is going to be from the Grape Cardstock. So I'm going to pull out a few inks to do this technique, and I'm really not sure what this technique is called. Um, I I'm debating between a faux watercolor and a faux swipe technique. So right here, I've just cut down that card base to a standard size card, 4¼ by 11. And then this polka dot paper, I'm going to cut down to 4 inches. And then I believe that was 3¼ but I will leave all the measurements down below. And then I just have a scratch piece of white Daisy cardstock that I'm going to be doing my faux technique on. So I've scored that great piece of cardstock at 5½ inches on that 11-inch side to make the standard card base. And here's where the technique comes in. So I'm going to be using lilac, mink, lemonade, and Carolina, and then just some of my tape that I use to adhere my thin cuts to my die cut machine. And then all you do is you pick up the color from your ink pad. Now this first color is lilac. You pick it up on that tape, and then you see how it's just real subtle. So I'm going to use the same piece of tape, wipe that off, and then I am going to pick up the mink color. Same thing, you just swipe that tape onto your ink pad, and then it transfers to your piece of cardstock. And it is just a wonderful watercolor look. It's definitely almost the same as the swipe technique, just a little more subtle, which is what I'm going with. And then I'm going to finish off with the Carolina. Now, as you can see, I am trying to leave just a tiny white border in between those colors. Just, I think it looks a little bit cleaner, but you definitely could overlay the colors to kind of create a second color in between where those colors overlap. So I'm going to cut this down. The larger piece is going to go on the front of the card, and then I'm saving the smaller piece for the inside. So I've also decided to stamp on those color blocks using the February 2021 stamp of the month called Doodle Borders. So the first image that I have pulled, I'm going to ink up in Sapphire, and this is going to go over the Carolina swipe. And I'm also going to repeat that process for that inside piece, and then clean that stamp off, and then get the next color, which is going to be grape, and it's going to go over the lilac. And then I've also pulled out the next doodle border, and these are just 4 vertical lines. So I'm inking that up in grape and stamping it over that lilac faux swipe. I don't really know what to call this. So if you have any ideas, leave me a comment down below and let me know. And then the last one, sorry, my daughter brought me a cookie. The last one, I am going to be using Nectarine as the color, and it's going to go over the lemonade color, which I was really surprised at how good this Nectarine over that lemonade looks. So I do end up pulling another border from the Doodle Border stamp set, thinking that I will stamp over the mink, but then I just ended up just leaving it. It looks really good with just that mink plain. So I've laid these out, and then I've decided that I actually want to mat those on some White Daisy cardstock. So I've just cut a piece by 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I'm just going to adhere that polka dot pattern and then that stamped pattern down. And I am going to take that mink ink and a sponge dauber and just kind of add some sponging all the way around, just so it's not stark white. I love the look of sponging around items. It's called ink distressing, and there are several techniques for ink distressing, but I think that sponging has to be my favorite just because it's so subtle. And then I want something separating the pattern that I stamped as well as the polka dot. So I'm just using some old ribbon from my stash. This is the light gray ribbon. It may still be available in the clearance section of my website. If it is, I'll leave a link down below. And then I am going to just wrap around a piece right where those 2 pieces of cardstock meet. And I am using glue dots. I find that it adheres a whole lot better if you use glue dots, as well as glue dots on top of the ribbon to adhere it to your card base. So I'm going to get that adhered down, and then I am going to start playing with the sentiment for this card. Now for the sentiment, I am pulling out the stamp set that goes with the In This Together special. And this sentiment actually is a word bubble, and it says miss your face. Now, even though this is predominantly for pandemic, like scrapbooking, this special is, I love that miss your face could actually be for anything. Even years down the line, this is just going to be such a good stamp set to have for all you card makers. So I'm just going to fussy cut that out, leaving just a tiny white border around like I usually do. And then I'm going to play with this bow. I have decided to just adhere it down with a glue dot. And then I'm going to take a glue dot using my paper piercer and put underneath that ribbon just to make sure it's good and secure. I think I want my sentiment over the bow, so I've put a glue dot on the center knot of the bow, and then I am going to add some 3D foam tape. Now I am going to double up this 3D foam tape because that knot in the bow is so thick. I felt like it really needed to be doubled so that sentiment piece isn't adhered in the middle and then has to go down to the 3D foam tape, if that makes sense. So that outside of the card is done. I'm just going to wrap this video up by adhering this inside piece to the inside of the card. And I feel like the inside of the card is light enough that you can write your sentiment without adding additional White Daisy cardstock. Now, remember that this is a part of a blog hop featuring the IT'S FAUX technique, and I'll leave all those links down below, as well as any link to the products that I used. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. If you liked what you saw, I would love for you to leave me a comment and give me a thumbs up. And please consider subscribing and signing up for notifications. Have a great weekend.